champions, and that's what they do. Like, they pay the Pantheon tax, they pay the Yone tax, they pay the Azir tax, and they're just fine matching whatever else 100 Thieves has left.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think for Cloud9, that is the style that they are very comfortable playing. They are really strong meta players. I was going to say Thanatos, famous for his Ambessa. A lot of people feel like it is kind of his best champ because this is one of the things that really had fallen out of favor in LTA North, but he just kept playing it because he's so damn good at the champ. But this time, Dokla is the one taking it away. So I'm really curious to see how Dokla will be able to perform on it and what the answer will be from Thanatos. We do have the Taliyah coming out. Of course, there is no Vi to pair with it, but things like Jarvan are a potential option to pair. Instead, it is going to be the Skarner. So, yes, Skarner can set up for the seismic shove a bit, but you have to make sure you're on the same page so you're not actually like scooping them out of it. And if skill shots are coming in, when you ult them, you have to be staying still. So, you have to make sure there's good coordination there between the two.
I think it's such a solid pick into Ambessa, and also the things that you would like to pair with Ambessa, which can often be just a bunch of brawly boys. So if they did end up going like Ambessa J4, I think Skarner's good into that. So we'll see how 100 Thieves ends up responding here, and they're just going to go with it anyway.
I mean, the Jarvan is such an iconic pick for River. Even if the enemy composition has tools to deal with it, I still feel like you have to factor in that it's not just Jarvan, it's River Jarvan, and he's so good at finding plays and finding angles on this champ.
The Quid cycle.
This would be interesting. I feel like it's going to be Viktor, I was going to say, yeah. Like, even though a lot of those were fun hovers.
They need range.
Yeah, and you just don't really want to play melees. A lot of the melees, especially into the Taliyah, it is very difficult often at times to actually deal with the Unraveled Earth, so it is just going to be the Viktor. Does allow him to play for that lane. Can be quite effective in that 1v1, and Quid has been really good on these control mages as well. I just kind of have that feeling that they need his X factor. They need something special. It's not that he can't be a fantastic Viktor, but given what he showed in Game 1, given what we saw in Game 2, I do tend to feel like if things go kind of standard and normal, Cloud9 just feels like they are looking a lot stronger in the early game, and then you need something that allows you to come back.
Absolutely feel that, but I also say we should credit them for their pick of Taliyah and the Skarner, because those are two good neutralizing picks that disincentivize Quid from playing anything super quirky. I also feel like in terms of just getting your comfort picks, Alistar had been targeted, banned away from Vulcan in all of the 4-5s of previous drafts. They're just getting it out of the way beforehand. I am also thinking that with Sylas still being up, the fact that there's nowhere to put him for 100 Thieves also makes Alistar a safe blind pick in this situation.
I like the fact that you mentioned the X Factor champs versus Viktor, Azael, because to me, Viktor is more of a Z Factor champion, because you're just going to sleep for the first 30 minutes of the game as you wait to complete 3 full
Where's he going
items.
with this? I thought you were about to do a Viktor from Arcane joke.
No. Those are done. Those are tired. We have the sleepy Viktor that wakes up 30 minutes into the game. But it is one of those things that it's tougher if you don't have that guy that you can play around and say, hey, let's team up with River's Jarvan. Let's make some big moves. We'll see if they can make Viktor flashy and aggressive. But here in the second half of the draft, it's going to be Senna and Rakan bans for C9 as 100 Thieves bans out the Yorick. And I am curious how C9 is going to finish this, because remember last weekend when we talked to an Arrow, he said, yeah, man, I've got 2 good drafts in me. After that, the rest of the series is just, So we'll see if he can complete the rest of the drafts to, to standard here.
To whose standard?
I wonder if
is
he
the question that we'll answer.
Is Game 1 a good draft after the result? Because they did lose, so it's probably the draft's fault.
Yeah. I mean, even Zven in the interview, I wasn't sure he was memeing, but it sounded like he was kind of serious. He was just kind of blaming drafts against TSG, which is always interesting, because the opinion of the players can be sometimes so different, right, than the people watching, and even like. I've told these stories 100 times, but it's always so funny to me when I do like a sideline interview or something after a draft, and I'll see one coach go by and be like, oh, how did draft go? Absolutely slammed it, crushed those guys. The other coach goes by, oh, how did draft go? They didn't even see it coming. They have no idea what they're doing. It's so funny to me that it's like people can just have such wildly differing opinions, even though they're both playing the same game. They're dedicating all their time to it.
Well, we've got the Lucian locked in now for C9, which is a little bit unusual just because he's not with one of his usual friends. This AD carry almost always has Nami or Braum or sometimes Melio next to him, but this time around, beef's for dinner.
Lucian has been branching out these days, though. It had been, he was sticking with the same crowd, but even though we had, for a long time, earlier this year, it was Lucian Nami only. Then we got a little Milio. Then we got a little Braum. Now these days, people are playing it with a lot of different stuff. They're playing it with, you know, just standard engage champs. They're playing it with Bard. They're willing to do different things.
Lucian will lane with anyone but his wife. That's the only champion that he never lanes with.
Sometimes working together, you know, it can be tough on the relationship, right? They spend their time off the rip.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's,
keep work life separate.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Okay. All right. That's
and
the
Lucian's
strat.
staying the hell away from Senna.
He's just, Lucian goes and hangs out in the thresh lamp when he's not on the rip. We've got the Aphelios and the Braum locked in as the bottom lane counterpart to that Lucian Alistar combo, though. So two very powerful disengaged supports here in this third game.
I could just see you had something ready. I could see it in your face.
I was just
Yeah.
like, how can I come up with a stupid comment to contribute to Azale's actual analysis? It's an important dynamic.
It's amazing. I also will say that FBI needs to have a really good game here. Whenever Aphelios has a range advantage in the early laning phase, he can start playing very aggressively. So add that to the fact that there's a lot of champions that do want to go in against him. If he gets ahead and the Braum protects him properly, it is a well-structured team composition by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, it's always a question mark. How is Lucian going to look? Lucian can look sometimes like the most powerful champion in the game. And other times it can look paused. So
okay.
good now.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Maybe you just unplug it, plug
Was
it
that
back
delayed?
in.
Was it not working in game 2? Now it's fixed?
Oh!
Yeah, eventually.
They're already dead. Come on, man.
All right. Well, while we contemplate that, we've got Kobe standing by for an interview with Coach Golden Glue.
All right, Mr. Golden Glue. Nick Smith, your drafting opponent, he always talks about, oh yeah, I'm so good at the first couple of drafts, and then I fall off hard. How confident are you with this group of players in your drafts as you get deeper into Fearless?
Yeah, I mean, I think this draft turned out pretty well. I think game 3 they fell off, and here we are. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think game 3 we've got Quid on Viktor, we've got FBI on Aphelios, who's very known for that. I feel pretty happy with this draft.
Yeah, I also noticed you went really early for the Ambessa first pick. Is that more of a we super want Dokla on this, or of a, we don't want Thanatos on this for the whole series?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question, Kobe. It's a little bit of a double whammy for us. It's a little bit of it's a good pick for us, and it's a good, so that's a double plus.
That's just good coaching right there then.
Great, yeah.
We got to say, what are the goals that you then want your team to accomplish with the draft you've given him this game?
I mean, for the most part, we're kind of just like a front-to-back team fight comp. We call it the don't face me comp. If you get to mid lane versus Aphelios or Viktor and they just kind of like frag out in front of you. I think for the team fights, they kind of have to look for like more of split pushing with Gnar and Taliyah and try to catch us off on side. I think if we get 5v5 front-to-back, we should win.
All right, well, good luck in the game. We're going to send it back to the casters.
I really like how Kobe asks Golden Glue, so is it more of option A or option B? And he just gives the perfect politician answer of, man, option A, option B, two great options. Next question.
Yeah, and so LeBron James is the first 2 games. This is Cloud9 in games 1 and 2. In Split 3, they're 10 and 2. In games 3 to 5, only 2 and 4. So maybe some truth to it. Maybe he's just memeing. You know, I will say, I feel like an arrow. Oh, maybe you can have it all in.
Yeah, we have Zven flashing away here, does get stunned up. FBI going aggressive there with Severum. The red gun enables the Aphelios to get so scrappy.
Yeah, I feel like an arrow does a good job of just trying to take the heat away from his players, right? And I think a lot of it is kind of just in jest. But, you know, by just saying, oh, nope, draft diff, my fault, guys, you know, it's an easy way to kind of deflect some of that criticism away from the players, which I think is something coaches absolutely should be doing.
I love it, but I also love River Jarvan trying to make things spicy here.
Okay, Blaber trying to finish farming the Wolf, but River has already engaged. Does find a good little bit of damage here as Blaber uses the Ishtal impact to disengage back away from the invading enemy jungler.
They have push on bottom lane too, so he wants to get the kill!
River! He's going to almost find the kill into Blaber. He flashes forward underneath the tier 2 turret and he finds first blood 3 minutes into the game.
He first bloods him, he steals the big wolf, and Blaber was playing with fire there.
How did he see him around that wall?
He threw the Q over the wall, so he knows he's there.
I need to see that again from his vision.
Yeah,
Because he EQ'd over the wall for the kill. Surely, if Blaber was crazy for staying around there, but River
Yeah.
gets the kill on the re-engage.
I mean, Blaber threw his Q over the wall there, throws the
Oh, right,
boulder.
Blaber Q over the wall, and the damage gives him vision.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know, he threw that over the wall, so I'm assuming that gave him vision, or at the very least, he knows where that's coming from, so he can guess. We'll see if we get a replay with vision. But obviously, this was him going in. He steals away the big wolf with his smite. Blaber knows that he has smite advantage. That's why Blaber wants to stay around, right? He's saying, you just smote my big wolf. I'm going to stay around here, and I'm going to smite this back. He's probably hoping he can do like a drive-by when it's low or something. But he throws the Q over. He knows he's there and just has the read that he's over the wall. I'm going to go in. At the very least, I think he's thinking, I'm going to push you out. And at the most, you actually hit him and you just kill him.
Yeah, so the Q only hit the Gromp. The Q didn't reveal. He had some lingering vision from the ward that they had in the brush, and he just kind of guessed that he wasn't skimming back and forth. So River just kind of goes for it, and this time it pays off.
River Jarvan, man, there's a reason he's so good at this champion. It really lends itself. I mean, throughout the history of League of Legends, Jarvan has been one of those champions that you can be so aggressive and so creative with very early on because of the power of the baseline EQ combo, and putting it in the hands of a player like River who always wants to make plays, who always wants to do something that you're not expecting. It's powerful.
Absolutely, and it wasn't any sort of like early cheese gank. This is just an invade, right?
Yeah.
He gets in his opponent's face, is able to really put the pressure on, and gets way more than I think he was hoping he would get.
Yeah.
You know, gets way more than he was expecting. Like I said, when he EQs over the wall there, when you see that it's blind, I think all he's thinking is, Blaber is low, he'll have to leave, right? And then I will secure this, because he knows Blaber had smite advantage, so you don't want to just flip it. So it was a good play either way, but he just gets so much from that. And now, 700 gold lead at 5 minutes in the jungle? That's crazy.
It's crazy, and still level 5 to level 3 while he's continuing to clear camps. They did that, though, also because FBI and Eyla had full prio on the Lucian. The early range advantage of the Aphelios, especially with Green Gun, can really wreak havoc on the opponent. And as they swap Ambessa down, River's just sneakily taking this Drake, and I think he's going to be able to get it before C9 knows what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Blaber, he knew that he would have to be farming his top camps, so you know, if he were to come contest, it would be very risky for him. If that goes bad, you are pretty doomed. And FBI's already up farming plates, or at least trying to farm some plates up on that top side. He was able to push it in, does get one plate at the end of the day there. So everything looking 100 Thieves very positive in this third game.
And considering, remember game number 1, they were down 2,000 gold and winning fights. Imagine what's going to happen if they're up 2,000 gold taking fights.
Best start ever.
You can do that?
Guys, what if we built the lead early instead of doing the comeback step? We can skip that entire phase. Ayla's going
Core
to...
to their identity.
Yeah, oh, that's true. So you're saying that they need to fall back behind.
Exactly.
Just run it into a turret a couple of times. Well, that Scryer's Bloom is going to spot the recall there as Blaber goes ahead, gets back to base, purchases a giant belt here for himself. We do have the grubs still about a minute and a half away. It was a very, very early Drake take from River. But again, that's what you earn when your bottom lane has priority the entire early laning phase, and you manage to get that kill and the level advantage against the enemy jungle.
He did spend a lot of his experience advantage taking that Drake. It cost him a lot of time, but he gets level 6 off the crab and then can again push Blaber off of wherever Blaber wants to go.
Yeah, exactly. And you can notice that even though the camps are up on the top side, River's going to go down. Anything that could be contested, he's going to show up for, right? He's going to go cross-map to that scuttle, knowing Blaber would want to try to grab that. Then he can clear back up towards that top side. So always wants to show up to fight anything that is possible right now, knowing he is much stronger at this point of the game. We haven't touched on it really at all, but you know, it is the Gnar matchup here for Thanatos into Dokla's Ambessa. And Dokla's doing well thus far, you know, has a nice little CS advantage, is playing the Electrocute kind of as expected in some of these more aggressive matchups, and it'll be fun to see where he builds. You know, if he is just going to go kind of standard, because I have been seeing more Ambessas go more heavily into lethality in some of these melee versus ranged matchups.
I mean, the Voltaic Cyclosword does so much damage on Ambessa. Of course, you are very squishy when you build it, right? When you dive in, it's kind of a one-way ticket for either you or them. So you've got to make sure you're picking your moments very wisely when you go for those builds, but they are just so incredibly strong if you can get ahead and play them right. 1,500 gold lead, 400 Thieves right now, 8 minutes into the game as the grubs are about to spawn.
Yeah, C9 is going to need something to go right for them in the laning phase here because they're kind of pushed in across the board. Dokla had the push FBI and Eyla have the push, and now River might find another fight.
Yeah, Vulcan goes for the knock up there with the FBI, but C9 is fighting a 2 versus 3. Vulcan's got unbreakable will, but the Alistar still taking a bunch of damage here. Does get away to the safety of the turret. River now caught by Blaber's Skarner. He goes for the impale, but River buffers through it there with the Cataclysm, keeping himself safe enough to survive. Zven very low, has to pop the barrier to survive the final shot with a sniper rifle plus chakram combo.
And
Quid's
Quid's
thinking about
coming
it.
in.
Oh, nice Arcane Storm to interrupt the recall from Vulcan. The Alistar now flashing away, but the Death Ray catches him, and Blaber might just follow. Ishtal Impact allows him to escape the Glacial Fissure, but 100 Thieves win out.
And it's still a huge win because they're getting plates on top of this. So C9 has to flash away on Blaber. They use the ultimate like the immune that River did on the Skarner ultimate there. And not only do they get the kill and the plates, they're going to get the grubs as well.
I mean, this is the total reverse of last game, right? This is that similar style of lead. It was 10, 11 minutes in that C9 were up about 2K. We're not quite there just yet, but it is very close. They have the Dragon. They have 3 grubs. They are really looking strong. And that game, too, is just looking like a little bit of a blip on the radar.
Yeah, let's watch this one more time. Vulcan with level 6 wants to try and take advantage of his power spike, knowing that if there is someone there, he can tank so much damage with his first charge of his ultimate. But, I mean, watching Blaber try to go in here, I think it's a little ambitious to get something.
Yeah, the Cataclysm here makes you go unstoppable. So right at the end of the Skarner ult, goes unstoppable, ults in, Eyla can tank up the culling, and then not quite enough years there for FBI to be able to finish it up. Needed a few more.
Yeah, 197,
Yeah,
needed 3
not
more
quite
years.
200.
And then Quid just roaming up first makes it so Vulcan can't escape. Vulcan was very close to being able to finish his recall, and Blaber likely should not have been there, but gets out with his E.
And that's always going to hurt a lot, you know, to lose your flash and die. Yes, he is playing Spellbook Alistar, so he can swap over to something else, but Alistar is just a different champion when you have flash, right? So losing that and dying is kind of the insult to injury.
Especially when the enemy mid laner also doesn't have to flash himself to guarantee the kill on you. As now Zven once more under pressure from FBI. That last little bit of damage isn't enough. Zven lives.
It's still going to be really hard for the Lucian to be effective with what continues to happen to him, though, because the Aphelios is just pushing him out of any lane where they're matched up.
And that was 28 HP that he lived with there. We talked about how Lucian can look very different in different games, right? And
this is your team's Lucian.
Exactly. When you're falling behind like this against an Aphelios, that is very concerning. The baseline for Aphelios later on in the game is very high. This champion just pumps out so much damage. It's a crit scaling marksman. He's going collector first here, but then I'm assuming he's going to be going into just very standard crit marksman build. But he's 740 gold up. Now has the largest individual lead in the game. And Zven is not going to have an easy time playing out these fights.
And if we go back to the conversation we were having during draft and whether or not Quid needed to be on an X Factor champion, they just have a solid front-to-back team fighting composition, and the 2 scaling picks are already ahead. River's created enough action as we're likely to see another fight. River finds them at Drake. EQ's back over, but he's probably going to have time to re-engage.
Yeah, he took the blast cone over so then he could use the combo to escape if there was too much pressure. Now that's just about ready to go here again. C9 starting off the fight, going in after River, but not a whole lot of damage here just yet, and River has already stolen away the objective. 100 Thieves now got to be a little bit careful as River has fallen. C9 want to get some more. Thanatos goes in for the Mega Gnar, but he only finds FBI, and that's good enough. Nicely played from C9, and they want even more now. Quid's about to drop. Double kill back over to Zven. Now the Lucian's online. C9 are going to wipe out the whole damn crew.
Like fish in a barrel there. Zven is just gunning them down. The team set him up perfectly for that fight. Even though River does get the smite on the Dragon, they get completely ran over. It felt like 100 Thieves had all their focus on contesting the Dragon and not actually winning the fight. Watch this one more time. Thanatos, I gotta give him so much credit.
We should have known something was up when 100 Thieves was ahead in the early game, but I completely agree here. So much damage is already taken by the time they smite the Drake, and then they get seismic shoved. So Eyla and River are effectively out of the fight. Thanatos able to frontline, just flash ult and lands the stun onto FBI, making the retreat impossible for him. Loki with the ult to close damage on the backline towards Quid. I mean, a perfectly played fight by Cloud9.
And I mean, Thanatos seals the deal there, but even early on in the fight, Eyla and River are just getting blasted when they're moving in to try to steal away that dragon. So yes, they do actually get the dragon. The Impale expired there, from the Skarner in time for him to be able to smite it, because you can't actually smite when you're suppressed, right? So that did work out, but in the meanwhile, Eyla jumped in to try to defend River, so their front line was basically already dead by the time they smited the dragon. Eyla and River had pretty much no HP. They're just fully on the run. So really then it's all up to, can Quid and FBI kind of solo carry this fight, or duo carry this fight if you want to say it that way? And Thanatos made sure there was no chance, flashes in with the perfect Mega Gnar, snaps him back, and as soon as FBI gets knocked in, he's not even going to flash. He knows he's dead.
And just the way that the front-to-back fights need to happen is the back needs to be hitting while the front is taking damage. And that just wasn't happening because the front so overcommitted to trying to steal the Drake, which they were successful at doing, but that is not worth it. That's exactly what Cloud9 needed to get back in this game.
Yeah, Zven's Lucian that we were talking about, he's having struggles, right? Like, dealing with this Aphelios is so tough. Now he's under pressure yet again. Dokla shuts him back down.
You just had to say something, Flowers.
My bad.
Just had to say something.
My bad. That curse was on quick cast, man. I didn't even get to finish the sentence before his body hit the floor. And now 100 Thieves. Not only are they going to get that, they're going to take the first turret right after. That's going to guarantee them feats as well. So they're back in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, the real winners of this game are us so far, because it means we're going to have a banger. Game 1 and 2 ended up a little bit stompy. Game 1 was 100 Thieves out team fighting them. Game 2 was everything going right for C9. At the start of this, it looked like River was really going to put his stamp on the game with his invade and kill onto Blaber, as well as early objective control. But that 5-for-1, and then the turrets flying down, Dokla making plays on Zven, who's now flashless. I think we're going to continue to see a high-tempo game as the summoner spells are all on weird cooldowns now.
Okay, 10 seconds till Herald spawns. Surely we get a fight for this one. Blaber, Vulcan, and Zven are here first. Thanatos walking his way over on the Gnar. Has about 40% of a Gnar bar. Loki separated from the rest of the team right now, but happy to just clear out the wave. Can easily take care of that on the Taliyah. River is nowhere nearby, but now making his way back up here as C9 begin the objective. 100 Thieves thinking about the approach, but the Herald already about half dead. Quid fires off a laser, tags Loki with it. River throwing the flag into the pit. However, the Herald is already secured. Loki fires off a Weaver's Wall. Now Eyla and Dokla got to be a little bit careful. And it looks like everything's going to be fine. C9 are happy to just take the objective and leave.
Yeah, 100 Thieves want to contest, but Dokla had no TP and he's coming from base, right? So by the time he arrives, the Herald's already gone. So at that point, you probably should have just been pushing other waves when you realize Dokla is not going to be in a position. But River always wants to look for that steal. And I think this time would have been better to just kind of play the map and actually just get those waves moving in the right direction, because now Cloud9 lose nothing in the side lanes and are able to grab the Herald essentially uncontested while wasting 100 Thieves' time.
Yeah, I will say, though, that is just the way that 100 Thieves plays. Like, they're always going to look for any opportunity to fight, and it just wasn't quite good enough. I'd also say having all 5 of them die the last time they started the fight probably made them a little more hesitant to just fly in there before they had everyone. So I'd say it's consistent with the way that they've played all year, even if it's a suboptimal play there by 100 Thieves.
I do feel like this next Drake fight's going to be pretty important. 100 Thieves being able to secure soul point status before 17 minutes into the game would put a lot of pressure on C9 going forward. And so 100 Thieves are first to this bottom side river as the battle for the mid lane wave for priority will continue to rage. Herald summoned up as the distraction before the dragon, as it often is used. Blaber's going to go ahead and hop in there. We'll see if they use this for PvP. Where is Blaber going with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to River. So Thanatos is in Mini-Gnar. If 100 Thieves wants to try and move quickly, he just ran out of Mega, so he cannot build Rage just yet. And C9's going to try and burst this down, forcing 100 Thieves' hand for a fight.
Okay, the Herald marching back into the mid lane. No value going to be gained from that one. 100 Thieves want this dragon, but immediately engaged from Vulcan. Beautiful catch into the follow-up on Quid. Now the Impale seals the deal, and 100 Thieves are in full retreat. Cloud9, it's Vulcan recognizing the opportunity. It's Blaber following up, and it's a pick onto Quid that sends 100 Thieves home empty-handed.
It's a great pick there from Vulcan, but also have to be a little bit critical of Quid. that brush is death to walk up to if you do not have vision in it. And they actually had a ward over by their red buff, so they knew that they weren't going to get flanked from there. You can hug the bottom of that wall. You can play a little bit further from that, and you should not be the person that's walking up first in that spot. Vulcan doesn't even have to commit his flash, right? He just straight up walks into combo range here. Yeah. And they had even seen Vulcan
right there
jumping in and out of the brush, right? Like they saw him on vision, and he just kind of walked in and died. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a mistake there from Quid.
Exactly. I draw that line because we talk about these front-to-back team compositions. It's front line, back line. You cannot have your Viktor ahead of the rest of the team to be engaged on by the Alistar. So I think that's one part, Quid thinking they need to do something, but it's the other part just not being on the same page with his tanks.
All right, the Otacon will be our next objective spawning here in under 2 minutes. C9 going to go ahead, secure themselves this top side Scuttle Crab, as it's still a very close game in terms of gold. But for 100 Thieves, I mean, you said it right. Frontline, backline, you've got to have everybody in their proper formations. Viktor, unfortunately, is not the frontliner. Zven getting away from this one. He'll just go ahead and create a little bit more space between himself and 100 Thieves.
Yep, doing a good job with his 4 kills now to keep the mid wave as pushed as he can. Didn't have anyone there to help him, still drawing pressure, so Zven had such a strong recovery after that big fight, and now they're just pressuring the map the best they can.
Yeah, Dokka's still in a pretty good spot, and obviously we have to talk a bit about Dokka and how the team really has looked quite a lot different. Yes, you can also kind of divide it into, you know, best of 5s versus best of 3s, but he has been a difference maker. The whole team has been talking about it. You know, their early games are better. They're in winning positions way more often. And they are also, a key difference is, able to play a lot of champions that Sniper was less comfortable on, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're bringing out things like the Rumble that they're putting high prio on that they weren't really comfortable to go to before. Correct.
They've been locking Rumble in game 1 of every series that's available. We were joking about Sion, which has fallen off a little bit more in this series because they've been focusing on denying Thanatos' champion pool. That might come into power later on in this series now that they're taking the Ambessa and the Gnar in this game. But here's Taliyah. Loki's having a great game so far, trying to go for Quid.
Yeah, there's your Weaver's Wall. Quid still pretty safe overall, though. C9 aren't going to get a whole lot out of this. It's actually Loki who's the most hurt after it's all said and done. So 100 Thieves are going to keep their mid laner safe as Otacon spawns here in the bottom side.
Just hit it right away.
Just get in there.
I mean,
it's been alive for 3 seconds. That's 3 seconds too long. It must be attacked. If Otacon's alive, you have to click him.
It's happening. I mean, they get the teleport and they're fighting.
Oh, but now Eyla's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Steps forward with the Unbreakable. Vulcan with the Unbreakable will now knocking Eyla back towards the rest of C9. Aphelios ulti's not going to find a lot, and the Impale seals Eyla's fate. Thanatos trying to do something here in the back line, but already Dokka has dived forward. Loki gets the kill on him. Thanatos jumps in for the Mega Gnar. River tries to escape, and the Mega Gnar is a total whiff from Thanatos. C9 are still going to win the fight 2-for-1, but that could have been a whole lot worse for 100 Thieves.
That flag and drag from River saved FBI, though. It bought him the time to actually be able to get out of range there from Thanatos. Thanatos goes in. He has what looked like the perfect timing there, but can't make the play happen. And again, Otacon goes wrong here as 100 Thieves are getting softened up by it. Eyla puts up the Unbreakable. Nice sidestep, dodges that seismic shove as it's coming back in, but they're getting hit the whole time by Zven, by Otacon.
Actually really crazy, the flash forward by Blaber as the Infernum Aphelios ultimate hit made it not spread to anyone on the backline. So FBI lost out on a ton of damage, and here's the flag and drag giving that split second for FBI to escape. I feel like if that stun lands, the fight probably gets even worse because C9 would have Otacon for sure.
Yeah, I think they kill him there absolutely, and then they get Otacon. And a big reaction there as we're back to live, and it's C9 now. It's their turn to hit Otacon.
Just do it. Come on now.
Everybody just jumps on this objective. Otacon at half HP. C9, it's mostly just Blaber and Zven fighting it, so they're the ones with the debuff who are going to have to be extra careful. Loki with a Weaver's Wall, but it's not going to section anyone away. Thanatos only has half of an R-bar, as now Vulcan's going to die before anything else even happens. 100 Thieves steal the Otacon, and C9 come crashing back down to earth. A double kill for FBI as River leads the charge forward, forcing the flash at a Loki with a Cataclysm. 100 Thieves teach C9 a lesson that the teams keep needing to learn. Otacon is dangerous business.
But they want to hit it. I mean, you have to. You have to hit it. They get the Drake after this as well, which will put them on Soul Point for Mountain Soul. This was similar to me that from the Drake that 100 Thieves wanted to steal, except this time it was actually C9 spending all their resources trying to peel River because the Otacon is actually shredding them the whole time they're peeling, and the rest of 100 Thieves is committing to the fight while River goes in for the steal.
Yeah, I mean, the teams, they yearn for Otacon, and this time, Vulcan does a great job of keeping River out for a long time. I didn't think I was going to break you like that. As he's able to knock him back, but it's like you're saying, they are playing for the fight.
Thanatos.
He just gets completely taken out. They still can't finish it. Smite comes down early to 400 HP. River steals it away. And again, this is the problem. You are taking the Otacon. They are hitting you. They get the steal. So it's just an absolute disaster there for Cloud9.
And you could see at the very start of the fight, that cooldown timer, the Alistar ultimate was like 5 seconds away. And so Vulcan's in a position where ultimate Alistar would want to be.
Yeah.
Non-ultimate Alistar, not so much.
And you have to feel a little bit bad for Blaber there. Clearly the call was to finish it and peel, you know, so Vulcan goes out, he knocks him away. But, you know, Thanatos is looking for a flank. People are kind of doing different things. Not everyone's hitting the Otacon, right? So if you're going to go for one of those plays where it's like Vulcan dies to keep out the jungler and then you take the Otacon, everyone's got to hit the Otacon. They didn't kill it in time before he got out of the CC.
Yeah, I'd also
the same
say
thing that happened last game in the Skarner, earlier in that Skarner play.
Absolutely. I'd also say with where Thanatos was, like, if he's just at the Otacon and everyone on 100 Thieves tries to walk through, that's a 5-man Gnar ultimate straight into the wall. So just a split call by C9, which continues to make this game very unpredictable. As now 100 Thieves with that extra Otacon boost definitely have a slight upper hand.
Yeah, the Otacon extra adaptive force is going to go a long way. Plus, they are at that soul point status now for the rest of the game, and it's very, very scary for 100 Thieves to lock in a Mountain Soul before 30 minutes, especially with the super close state of just the economies overall with the only 300 gold lead. That Mountain Soul could be a big swing.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking to Freak, and he was giving us kind of like essentially the average gold value of all these different objectives. Soul now these days is worth about 6,000 gold of stats, right?
Okay.
So that is kind of the average soul. Of course, it depends upon, you know, how do champions use it. You know, some souls are better than others for different champions, but that is like a good barometer for about what it is worth. That is a tremendous amount of power that would be going the way of 100 Thieves. And at C9, playing here around the Baron, there is that one sneaky ward that 100 Thieves have in the area to keep an eye on them. But I don't know if 100 Thieves are really that worried about C9 just starting up a Baron at this point.
No, I don't think so. I think Vulcan's hoping to find some type of nice engage that they can combo with Loki's seismic shove again, but they are a little bit purposeless right now, it feels like. Just getting the crab, that'll show them the ward and allow them to threaten a little bit better. Somebody hit it. Somebody hit the ward. Nope, don't care.
Nope. The ward stays. C9 looking for a fight instead as 100 Thieves have to group up and make sure they don't get caught off guard here. Blaber does take a decent chunk of damage from FBI. He has Calibrum, the green gun, for all of the extra range. Zven takes a lot of damage there from the Arcane Storm and Death Ray combo. Means that this AD carry for C9 is now way too low to properly participate in a fight.
Yeah, exactly. Now the question is, does 100 Thieves want to pull off another risky play and just try to start something up? They don't actually stop any recalls there, so Zven is coming back from base alongside Vulcan. I don't think it's going to amount to too much besides some vision being reclaimed in the Baron area there for 100 Thieves, but they just want to make sure that there's no chance that C9 can just sneak a random Baron, because they want to play for the soul. They clearly want to focus on this next dragon here that's going to be up in a minute 20.
I really feel like time is on the side of 100 Thieves in this game.
Okay.
FBI working towards Infinity Edge. I mean, yeah, because they're leaving the league next year, so it's like time's not really on their side. But in this game, it is. So, I mean, once Aphelios has the Infinity Edge, once Quid just keeps scaling with his items, now he's level 16 for the Viktor ultimate. Like, this is the moment they've been waiting for. So even if things don't go perfectly right and they aren't able to get this soul, they'll still have more opportunities to win the game. So I don't think they're looking to make high-risk plays at this point.
C9's carry's still in a good spot, though. You know, they're hoping that someone can step up, and the guy who was stepping up massively last week was this man on your screen, Loki. He was absolutely incredible. Everyone going to remember that Zeri game where it was just a heroic performance from him in a game number 5. But this game on the Taliyah, he is deathless. He's in a good spot. And they need that big performance from their stars. They need Zven, Loki. Someone has got to be that difference maker.
Well, the problem I would have to look at, though, we're talking about how it's difficult for Lucian to participate in the fights because of his short range. Loki's build is also very safe, very defensive, right? He has Seraph's Embrace, he has Rylai's, he has Seekers. There's not a ton of damage in there just yet. So 100 Thieves' front line feels more empowered to step forward, try to make plays. Now a bit of a fight here. The classic in ARAM. As we fight over the wave here mid, teleport coming in, Thanatos looking to join the fight, Blaber with the slam into the wall, River has been caught, C9 want this as their moment, River dies first, but low health bars on C9 as they try to retreat, Quid's coming in looking for Zven, Loki in danger now as Dokla wraps around from the side, Zven's about to die against Quid as only Vulcan and Thanatos are still standing, a nice little bit of damage comes out from Thanatos, but everybody else on the team is already dead, the Mega Gnar will not survive, and 100 Thieves wipe them out.
What a straight up brawl that was. The high amount of damage that comes out from Aphelios is what turns it here. You could see FBI, when we get the replay, flashes back, lands a huge ultimate to clean them up, and they're going to get the soul after this as well.
And I feel like Quid was a monster in this fight here, too. You know, it's Blaber kind of finding River on the side here. They try to burst him down, but as they are grouping up, in comes FBI. This is what you're talking about. Flashes to the side, tries to get some damage down, really only lands on the Blaber.
Yeah,
but then Quid flashing forward, finding the opportunity here. He was who I had my eyes on, and this guy on the Viktor taking over the fight. Thanatos is able to flash in and does get one back as the boulder toss sneaks its way through to finish off the Aphelios. But it just doesn't matter. It's too little, it's too late. They're going to lose the soul. And we'll see if they lost the Baron during that replay as well.
Got to get a snack in if you're going
Multitasking.
multitasking before the Game 4 draft.
I like how all of the other reactions are so super animated, but the sandwich nerfs the reaction.
Man's got to eat.
True, true. Well, hey, 100 Thieves are eating good right now with that soul. 31 flower petals to 10 is like an extra 2,000 gold's worth of just raw adaptive force over C9 as well. The Baron is still live on the map, and that's going to be the focus here for quite the next while. C9 trying to maintain some vision control over the area, but also we saw at the beginning of that last fight kind of what I was talking about where, yeah, they go in, they try to burst down River, but it's not like this composition with their current itemization has a ton of just massive bursts. This guy's dead instantly.
Yeah, they definitely don't, especially if they're not landing the seismic shove that got flashed away by FBI in that last fight. Zven is getting close with his Infinity Edge being completed, but I completely agree with you. They don't have that one-shot power, and the backline damage of the Viktor Aphelios is just going to continue to scale. Locket from Braum as well, able to shield them a lot from big engages, and then just the Mountain Soul on top of that, as well as the Otacon. They are stacking the neutral buffs.
And Quid is just super tanky, right? Like he has a Zonias, he has Leandries, plus a fully stacked Roa. He's level 18 now with a Mountain Soul, so it is going to be so hard to actually burst him down. So much of C9's damage really relies on the CC landing first. It's got to be, some sort of a stun into a seismic shove or a Blaber ult, and FBI just willing to start this one up. This could be a good opportunity here for C9, but Loki was showing bot lane. That's why they're going for it.
Yeah, Loki's going to have to join this fight pretty swiftly, and there's the TP coming in right now. River down to 2/3 HP, C9 on the approach, Thanatos, Gnar bar charged, but he does take a chunk on his way in. Vulcan wrapping around from the side. 100 Thieves are going to turn their fire onto the enemy support as he's now stranded in the middle of a bunch of Thieves. Dead. C9 picked the wrong angle, and Vulcan pays the price.
Yeah, FBI just had the perfect guns to start Baron, which is why 100 Thieves wanted to go for it right there. No one could get through Quid as Vulcan was trying to land some CC onto FBI, and that's Baron.
Yeah, not going to be able to do anything about it, so Cloud9 will just be giving up the Baron. Vulcan wanted to try to look for some sort of a flank, try to find an angle there, but gets spotted out and just jumped on by 100 Thieves. They don't give him the opportunity there. Goes down very easily, and now 100 Thieves really closing in here on being able to move themselves to match point as FBI also moves to 9th most kills in NA history, passing Poe Belter.
Pole Belter. I wonder where Poe Belter is ranked as well. So we'll see how fast he can move up the rankings in this one. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. But yeah, this is just crazy. The fact that 100 Thieves is on the precipice of being one game from eliminating C9, to me, it was just unthinkable. Like, this was a bottom-of-the-barrel team 3 or 4 weeks ago before they subbed in Dokla, saved the team's mental,
And
built this momentum.
Look at their record.
Their early game didn't even get that much better, but just their ability to win teamfight after teamfight has just come online, and C9 as well has just been so dominant in these regular seasons. 100 Thieves just looks like a completely different team with Baron and Mountain, so they might end on this push.
Yeah, Dokla already chunks Zven down to 1/3 HP. The Lucian's got to go all the way back to the fountain as the turrets are being broken. The first inhibitor's already down here in the bottom lane. Loki is about to die now as well, but a nice 2-man impale coming out from Blaber to try to turn it around. 100 Thieves are going to lose 2 for sure, but C9 need even more than that. Thanatos wrapping around from the side, but he has no Gnar bar. Vulcan's ready to follow it up, jumping in, but the Cataclysm locks up C9. 100 Thieves are trying to fight back. FBI's got to be protected, and Thanatos is already down. Loki next. FBI with a double kill. C9, they're going to kill 3 overall, but it costs them 2 of their own men.
I mean, that was so close there to being potentially C9 just running down a lane and at least taking an inhibitor or something. Both the soul laners from C9 piled in on FBI, but Thanatos had no Gnar bar, and Loki just straight up didn't have the damage. They couldn't finish off FBI. He fights, and he just wipes them off the map.
I mean, I'm looking at Quid.
Huge ulti.
I mean, huge ulti by Blaber. Loki, I think, got the shove to pull him into the turret. He was just really trying to end the game on that push, but Quid gets way too aggressive. And then, as you mentioned, Azael, if C9 can kill FBI here, they can take that minion wave and do a lot of damage, collect a ton of objective bounties, but they're not able to quite finish him off. FBI gets a double kill, and it turns into a bit of a wash.
Exactly. You know, FBI able to stay alive. They had a wave in top lane, too. Like, if they were able to ace them there, who knows, right? Like, the death numbers are pretty long.
How big
He's going to have to set down the sandwich for this one.
He's been eating the whole game.
What if it's a second sandwich?
Yeah, what if he just got another? What if he got another one?
Yeah.
Good sandwich.
Second helping. All right. Well, 100 Thieves is coming back for another serving of Dragon. We've got the Elders spawning here in 30 seconds. C9 knows they're going to have to fight for this. There's no way you hold in a base with 2 inhibitors already down if the enemy team has Elder. So they're out trying to slowly inch forward to be able to contest the objective.
I mean, Elder is the great equalizer, right? If you can find a way to get a steal, the gold lead suddenly does not matter at all. Loki, though, in trouble.
Yeah, Loki finds himself stuck in the Cataclysm as River is putting the pressure on the C9 mid laner, and now Blaber's going to be the one to pay the price right after. Quid gets the kill on the enemy jungle, and now Vulcan's got to try to run as well. The Alistar ultimate is forced out. Even if Vulcan lives here, it won't even matter because he will not be useful, but it won't even be the case. FBI guns him down, and it's 3 versus 5. C9 have to pull off another insane defense here if they want to stay alive in this game. Super minions marching down mid and bottom lanes. 100 Thieves have 30 seconds in this 5 versus 3. Thanatos transforms into Mega Gnar, but there's no opportunity to go in on a valuable target just yet. Tries to get the Mega Gnar onto 2, but it's not enough. FBI unstoppable. Zven under pressure. Might be able to find the outplay onto Quid, but he flashes forward because Loki can't do enough damage to threaten him. Zven gets 1 kill, but it's the only thing he'll find. Loki continues trying to defend, but he's in a 1 versus 4. 5 seconds on Blaber and Vulcan, but the second Nexus turret is already down and the public execution lands onto Loki. 100 Thieves trying to end the game. Blaber is back alive, but it will not matter. 100 Thieves take game 3.
And now 100 Thieves is 1 game away from qualifying for the cross-conference LTA playoffs and ending C9 season. Lounge, can you believe it?
I
believe it.
I believe it. 2-1.
yeah.
I predicted 3-1.
Raz's prediction is dead.
Mine is dead.
It's gone.
Mine is dead.
Raz is the only one who doesn't believe it.
Mine was dead at Otacon. C9 had control and then they threw it.
Yeah.
They pulled 100 Thieves.
The great equalizer.
That Otacon, that was kind of bad.
It was rough.
It was 2 Otacons in a row because it was first the Thieves starting it. It got dicey.
Yeah.
That flag and drag from River
Honestly,
to save the engage.
River's Jarvan, like, what a treat it is to to watch this player play Jarvan.
FBI might have gotten the most fed, but River won
He's
this
so
game.
good.
River won this game. Remember back to the beginning of the game, too, where he's just invading
Yeah.
and he's just